Hi, thanks so much for tuning in to Mom Boss Chronicles. My name is Jen.
This is Sue.
And this is Danielle.
We are three moms that work together in real estate and are good friends, and here to talk to you about fun topics, the good, the bad, the ugly of mom struggles, real estate, and other fun stuff. So make sure to subscribe to listen to more. Welcome back to Mom Boss Chronicles. Today we're going to be talking about our favorite subject, real estate. We're going to be giving a recap of the real estate market in 2023 and our predictions for the real estate market in 2024.
Don't hold us to it. We don't have a ball, but these are our best guesses based off of what we've been experiencing so far.
We are all New Jersey agents, and we all have, different experiences with real estate. So we're just here to tell you our point of view as a New Jersey agent.
Right. It was an interesting year.
Yeah.
It was definitely interesting. And for me, who I think I'm in now my third I'm going into my third, I've been doing it for 3 years, but I started I started selling houses during a market that was fairly easy,
Because that was 2020. Yeah. And during that
the
year.
rates were so low.
Yes.
There was
lots of
really the biggest
transactions.
issue is trying to set your buyers apart, from the others and the
Multiple
crazy
offers.
multiple offer situation. But I think in terms of getting clients, it was pretty easy because, the rates were low. So it really was
And especially COVID, we didn't realize then a lot of people wanted to move.
Yeah.
It was forcing people to evaluate their life.
Totally, especially those in more densely populated areas, right? So it felt like it was easy. 2021, kind of the same thing, and same 2022 was my best year. So this year, it was a little harder to obtain the clients. It was a little harder to help people navigate, the ups and downs of the market, and especially with the rates changing.
Yeah, because we started the year with the rates high. It started in 2022, the rates were creeping up.
Yep.
I think they even went to 6 in 2022.
Right.
So we started the year with rates that were drastically higher from the year prior.
Yeah, just to go from high 2s, 3s to
So double,
6 in
triple.
a year.
Yeah.
It was really hard for people to swallow that pill, So navigating all of that, but I have to say, even though I had really great deals this year, and I had deals that fell apart a week before closing because, the rates had changed so drastically that those people who were qualified at the beginning weren't qualified, towards the end.
Especially
of that
if you were borderline.
Right.
Because there's some people who are just making it.
Yeah.
But if it goes up any slightly, they're out.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was heartbreaking. My heart really broke for those folks who were really getting excited. And in a lot of cases, these were first time home buyers, so they were trying to see their dream realized.
Yeah.
And it's there. It's almost within reach. And so it was really heartbreaking to experience that with some of my clients this past year. However, I did have really successful sales, which were really nice. I had clients who sold their home in Monroe. We got $180,000 over asking.
Wow.
So it was weird. It was like a tale. It was
Two cities.
stark, different situations going on.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
So it was really almost case by case situation.
Literally.
So that was really exciting for my sellers. And another one too, we had, and we went on in the fall, and I was a little nervous because the rates kept still going up. Are we positioning ourselves well for this? But she ended up getting $55,000 over ask. And what's interesting about this one, we had originally listed this house 2 years ago, and she was under contract for $480,000.
Wow.
And didn't end up finding something that she wanted to buy, so we took it off and putting it back on. She ended up getting $605,000. So,
wow. So over 120 in 2 years, the value went up.
Difference, yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
So I don't know. It was an interesting year. I learned a lot. I learned a lot this year. I felt like, I had to dig my heels in a little bit deeper and, help get more creative for some of the buyers who were on, the edge or just, fighting harder to make it happen for them. So I appreciated that. I mean, it was definitely, I didn't make as much money as I did last year, but I appreciated the lessons. I appreciated the wins that we did have because it made it feel that much more special.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was definitely a tale of two cities, I feel like, because buyers were in kind of a sticker shock when they were finding out what the rate was and what their payments were going to be, especially if you had a buyer who was didn't buy in 2022, especially the beginning of 2022 because the rates were low and they were waiting to find the right one. Here you find yourself in 2023 with payments that are drastically different now.
Yeah. A 450 house, depending on how much money you're putting down, you could be paying $4,000 a month.
I know.
It's insane.
I couldn't
And
afford that.
I know.
right. And it's just so sad for first time home buyers. I mean, you don't even have to be a first time home buyer, but that just the entry into the market. I mean, if you want something move-in ready, you're looking at what, 550 in Monmouth County, even Ocean County. It's just it's gotten very difficult for first time home buyers. And something I have noticed is that, I've been doing this 8 years. So they say the average American stays in their home 7 years and then they sell. They had kids, whatever, they want to upgrade. So I've noticed I had a lot of my clients starting out in real estate were first time homebuyers, younger, couples or whatnot. They probably would have wanted to sell to upgrade, change towns, whatnot. But I think they have elected to stay in their home because, okay, great, they have all this equity, but then they're like, where am I going to go with high prices and a high rate? So I think that's been a factor in this, the weirdness of the market too, is that people feel like, where am I going to go? And
Yeah.
A bottleneck.
yeah, so it's kind of like frozen things a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if we could all just do it, it would move the wheel a little bit. But I definitely think that is a big part of why I've seen my business slow down, is because a lot of, who would have been my repeat clients have elected to stay in their home longer than maybe they would have if rates and prices were different.
Right.
Yeah. And it's crazy because as a real estate agent, I've been doing this since 2007. We were told when rates go up, home prices go down.
Yeah.
The prediction was if rates go up, because home prices have been accelerating really quickly,
Right.
more than average. Like they say the average home acceleration should be about 2 to 4% in a given year.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen a much higher percentage of home growth. So when the rates started going up, everybody was saying, well, then home prices will start to stabilize. But we didn't. And the problem was because people didn't want to move. Yep. So it's a supply and demand issue. When you have less supply, and you have buyers who still need to move, the prices are going to go up. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of weird to see rates go up and home prices went up.
So actually this stat that we got was very interesting. I mean, this is just for Monmouth County, but this year the median home price in Monmouth County was $620,000, which is just blows my mind.
No, especially because a few years ago it was like what, $350,000.
So last year, just 1 year ago, 2022, it was $580,000, right? So the median home price has gone up significantly from last year to this year. However, it wasn't what I thought was just interesting, and I don't know why, but the days on market, not that it was a huge disparity, but days on market were longer this past year. So it was 30, which is still very small.
Yeah.
And like last year was 25, so it's just interesting. So maybe people were taking a little more time to
commit,
right?
Yeah.
But
I've seen it with a couple of homes in my town that would have flown off the market a year ago, and they're sitting now.
Yeah.
It's so weird, but also it's still a good time to sell because prices are high, but the houses are sitting much longer.
Sitting on the market is actually okay. Like there used to be once upon a time in real estate, it did take several months to sell a house because you had to find the right buyer.
Right.
We got so used to like the market. If you didn't sell honestly within a week, it's like, oh no.
What's wrong?
Yeah. It's funny that, like Sue says, when I got into real estate, it was easy. It was such a good time. And when I look back, while I did make a lot of money, it was in comparison to like a balanced market, it was so difficult. Mm-hmm. You would show one buyer dozens and dozens of homes, make dozens of offers, and you're up against 50 other people. So whereas, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you were showing them, a handful of houses, making an offer, negotiating, and you're done. So it was,
wow. Yeah.
It was very difficult. It was, but yes, there was more opportunity. People were buying houses. People were selling houses. There was a lot more movement than there is now, for sure.
Yeah.
I think the good thing is, obviously in this moment with the rates being where they are, home prices being where they are, I personally don't really feel like home prices will come down a lot. I just don't foresee that happening.
It's a supply issue. Yeah.
Anytime soon. For buyers out there, if you have a good lender, they'll try to work on different programs that will help, especially if you're first time home buyer, whether it's putting a smaller amount down. So you do have some liquid, cash in the background if you need it, but the rates are temporary, right? So, if you do feel like you're eager and willing to, get out there, like there's a possibility. You know, we don't want to sound like gloom and doom.
Yeah.
You know, it was a hard year to adjust. It's hard to adjust to such stark.
Yeah. I mean, if you were a buyer who came into the market in 2023, you probably had a different perspective than a buyer who started in 2022 because this was the rate. This is all you really know. And I still see a lot of opportunity in real estate. Like I have a client right now. The fall is typically a time where things slow down anyway, whether it was a good market or a bad market. You know, fall things kind of slow down. My client is closing on a home where in a cul-de-sac on an acre, and he's getting a really good deal because the time of year and because of the rates. And we actually just saw rates drop.
Right.
So he's really excited because right before the closing, the loan officer was able to drop his rate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So he was anticipating his payment being higher. His rate is now lower. And then, you know, let's hope the rates come down a little bit more. Even in the future, he'll refinance.
Right.
But people who are in it, I think, are, you know, able to secure a good opportunity because a lot of people have kind of put the pause on the buying.
Right.
But if you're a buyer who can do it, like there's still some really good deals.
I
out
do.
there.
And agreed. Like this time of year, if you're whatever buying to move into or invest or something, if you can find a deal at this time of year, I do feel like it's a little more helpful to shop around.
Yeah.
Time. It's just a little more quiet.
Yeah.
And then again, if you're, you know, you said you don't want to sound doom and gloom, and it's true because if you compare it to rental prices, I mean, you're going to live in a 2-bedroom garden apartment for almost like $3,000 a month.
Oh.
Buy a house. So
A 1-bedroom is 2. It's crazy.
I mean, it's just the rental prices are insane. It sucks. But yeah, if you have that down payment, you know, you're not always going to have a higher rate. Like you said, you could refinance. So what are your options if you're not buying? So that's something to really consider.
No. Yeah, you don't need 20%. You just need to find the best program. There's 3%, 3.5%, VA, 100% financing.
Yeah. And with VA, I mean, aren't there assumable rates too?
Do you have to be a veteran?
Yes, you have to be a veteran, right? A
Yeah,
veteran.
how amazing.
Veteran. So
that's amazing.
I think that's something that's not spoken about enough too, that people don't know, but marry people together like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that, and my thought process, like, too, I was thinking, like, obviously this would never happen because mortgage companies have to make their money, but how cool would it be? It would probably free up the market a little bit more if people could assume somebody else's mortgage.
Some
you know
FHA loans are.
Right.
Conventional is usually not, but some FHA is. I believe you have to pay off the balance, and like there's some homework to it, but some FHAs are assumable.
And if you're a seller, you know, you could do seller financing, you know, maybe, you know, not doing an 8% rate, but, you know, attract some folks to purchase your home when you do seller financing at like something more manageable, like 4. I mean, you're still making a good amount of money, you know, off of the interest. So I don't know.
Yeah. Financing, is great for a seller who owns their home outright.
Yep.
Still wants to sell. You become the bank. You have payments. You know, the new buyer has payments to you. And I think it's a great option for people.
If you can.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a win-win for both parties.
Right.
Yeah. So this is kind of the market where we've had to get creative.
Yeah.
And it happened, you know, I wasn't in the market in the 80s and 90s, but people told me when the rates were like this, people got creative back then too with assumable mortgages.
Went up to like
double digits.
18, right?
Yeah,
like crazy numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But people still purchased.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think you're right in saying that prices, I mean, again, we don't have a crystal ball, but how are prices going to drop? I mean, if rates go down again, then all the buyers are coming out of the woodwork and it's going to just drive prices up again. So who knows what's going to happen unless there's, I don't know.
I mean, there's an inventory issue ever since they were saying that 2008, like when things kind of crashed, builders stopped building the way they used to.
Yeah.
And because of that, and towns were really restrictive with buildings, like because there wasn't so much homes being built. Now you have a whole generation of people who need homes and there's not enough supply. And a lot of boomers are staying in their homes.
Yeah. I know that there's that. And also because a lot of them have their kids living with them in some,
they need
situations too, because can't afford to buy a house. The one thing I would say that has shocked me or boggled my mind about, you know, the adult community, 55 and older, they're expensive.
Oh my God.
The good places, like there's townhomes. Kelly Builders is putting up townhomes in West Long Branch. I mean, they're gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but they're selling for $700,000-$800,000. And I'm thinking to myself, like, aren't you on a fixed income?
Or retired, so your income's kind of going down.
But they're selling. So, you know, there's the wealth and money is out there.
Yeah. But
I know. I wish they would build
gated communities, like for us, not just 55
Yeah.
and over, because they're really nice, some of these.
Yeah. Really
Yeah.
nice.
But that, my point was more so like, all right, if the prices aren't going to drop, then you just have to take advantage of the opportunities in the market now. And if it makes sense for you and the payment makes sense, why rent?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have a very hopeful outlook for 2024. I do think that even if the rates drop a little bit, I think we'll see more buyers coming back out again and ready to lace up their boots, like let's do this.
And sellers, because they'll be like, if the rate is a little bit lower, then I can justify leaving my 2 to 3% rate and getting into a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like Fed, can you just lower them back down to a manageable rate so everyone feels a little
5
more
would be sweet.
Yeah, I think 5
yeah.
makes sense. Like that's okay. That's okay. Like you can stomach that. I would feel more comfortable giving up my 2.875 for something like that.
Yes. If it made sense.
Right. If it makes sense, because now we have the equity, right?
Yeah.
And you put like a larger down payment down if you want to. But I don't know. I am maybe I'm just too optimistic. I feel good about 2024. I hope that we see home prices just kind of level out a bit, maybe a slower rate.
Yes. And they say that they have, like, I guess the last quarter, they were saying that prices haven't jumped up.
Right.
So I think we're starting to see that stabilization.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And just the opportunity for people to like buy a house, or sell.
And sell and not be scared about selling and buying.
Yeah. Because I know too, I had a client, he actually wanted to downsize and sell his super large townhome and buy something in an adult community, but he has really nice taste, and he's just like, why would I leave this monthly payment to go, even though he wanted to downsize? So maybe that too, like there are the folks that do want to downsize, but again are like stuck with their monthly payment.
Yeah.
And if you are on a fixed income too, you need that. So
totally,
it would be great to see that happen in the new year.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's like a weird kind of cycle that we're in where people want to make the move, but then they're scared to make the move because their payments are going to change so much because of the rate.
Right.
So it's truly just a case-by-case basis. So obviously, if you are thinking about it, reach out to us because I don't mind sitting down and analyzing it with people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, what's your payment? What's your goal?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to buy something, let's look at the price of what do you want to obtain? You want a bigger home, right? That bigger home's going to cost you X. Let's break it down.
Right.
Because once people see it in front of their face, all right, the payment difference is going to be this, or then it's more easier for them to swallow it and accept it.
Yeah.
So it's the most thing I would say is reach out to your preferred lender, your preferred lenders, your real estate agents, and have that conversation with them.
Definitely.
Say that. I mean, if I tell my clients as well, and I've gotten so many deals closed by doing this, hey, sit down with your lender. If you can get this house for $10,000 more and see that your payment's only going to change anywhere from, $50, $70 a month, that might make sense for you. And when it's broken down in front of them, then you can really see it's instead of looking at the purchase price and that sticker shock, just look at the monthly payment, what's manageable for you. And that's like the way to go. I mean, that's how I bought my house. What can I afford every month?
Yeah. When I ask people, or when we talk to people, especially buyers, about their budget, I always say, like, do you have a budget in mind of what you want to spend monthly? Like, I'm sure ideally you would love to buy that $700,000 house as a first-time buyer, but what's your budget that you want to monthly pay? And then let's work it backwards and see what price point you should target.
House poor, yes. And honestly, you saying that and you say, like, that's to me what makes a good real estate agent is that you genuinely care about somebody's, the future, even after closing, is like, hey, you know what, let's sit down and talk this through because I want to make sure that you are like not struggling. Yeah. You're in this house, you're like, can't pay my
even just because you qualify for that amount doesn't mean you should maybe take a loan up to that amount if you're not comfortable with it. So
but that's what we're here for, to help all of you navigate all of that stuff.
And obviously people also still have sticker shocks too, like, I can't believe my payment's going to be this, and obviously we're here to break it down to you too. Well, if you want to be in Monmouth County, buy a beach, like, there's certain price tags you're going to have to pay if there's certain amenities or locations that you want.
Right, right. And too, I know we've talked about this in the past, but if you are open to a house that needs some love, we are all investors. We can help you navigate some of that stuff too. We also have really good contacts.
Ugly homes make really good homes
Yes,
too.
yeah, too. And maybe that is the way that you get your foot in the door, so we can help you guys with that too.
Yeah. So I just hope 2024, I do feel like it's going to be better because we're at that point where rates have been high for a while now.
Right.
So it's not kind of a sticker shock. And I feel like they're going to come down a little bit, give some people some relief. And I feel like we're going to see people make that move.
Right.
So
Yeah, definitely. Well, this was a good recap. I have to say, I'm on Zoom today because my son, he's sick, and I was like, "Do you want me to stay home or go in?" He said, "Mom, you have to go in today. You got to record your podcast, and you have to get subs, which means subscribers." So
I love.
Is that's the what's the word I'm looking for? So we need subs.
you need subs. So I'm here to
like,
subscribe everybody for my son.
learning new slang. Okay, thank you, Dylan.
I love his priorities. Like, hello,
Yes.
priorities.
Yeah, he said everyone on YouTube is a millionaire.
Maybe we need him to manage us.
Yes.
Well, this is like you're the epiphany of a true mom boss. Deal with sick children and still
Showing up.
Zoom.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, thank you, technology.
Well, 'tis the season. Yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe our page and
Yes.
our podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.